Hi there, Alana Corso, managing broker, co-founding partner of Dwell Realtors. This week's vlog is about understanding school scores and how that can affect your home selection process. Interestingly, in the Bay Area, many people are very data-driven and focused. And when selecting a home, they say, I want to live in an area with good schools. Understandable, of course. However, a lot of the time they will base that decision solely on one website. A lot of the time it's greatschools.org, and use the score that's reflected on that website to pick the area they want to end up in. And a lot of the time it can be erroneous, and you need to be looking beyond the scores to really truly pick your schools. So I'm going to give you some tips about not just focusing on the quantitative data, but the qualitative data in selecting schools. First is perspective. So I see this a lot at open houses where young couples or young buyers are looking at a home, and the first question out of their mouth about the schools is, what high school is this zoned for? And while high schools are super important, I like people to take a step back, and a lot of the time I'll ask them, do you have children? And many of the times these people won't even have kids yet. So I like to take them back a few and say, listen, if you're gonna have children soon, it's, you're at least 9 months of cooking that baby, and then it's another 5 years until that child will start attending kindergarten. So statistically, people sell their homes every 7 years. Not always, but if you just take that as a rough estimate, that you should be really focusing on elementary school and not high school, and to be really slow down that process, because you want to be focusing on where your children will be going in the next few years, realistically those 5 to 7 years, as opposed to where they're going to go in 14 years, because the chances are you're going to probably have moved twice. The next thing you need to look at is looking beyond the score data. And what does the score data really mean? So in 2017, California got away with API scores, or the Academic Performance Index, and moved to the CAS score, Smarter Balanced Testing. So CAPS stands for California Student Performance and Progress. This is a new tool where they talk about, our students meeting expectations, exceeding expectations, have they met the standard, and really diving down in different subsets of the population to understand it. So this data also rolls up to the new California dashboard, which is a color-coded system for understanding different measures within the school in terms of chronic absenteeism, how their standardized scores are doing, what their progress and initiatives have made over the years. So you need to look at these websites and kind of dive deep into them and understand, and really look at them from the subset of the population that your child is in, to see how your child would do in comparison to their peers. The third component of looking at schools is the part I like to say beyond just one tour. So a lot of the time, many parents will set up a school tour and they go one time and that's it, and they make their decision based upon that tour. So there's so many other factors you need to look at. You need to actually speak to other parents that attend that school, and the principal and teachers that are teaching there. You can attend a PTA meeting, a school site council, go to the school board meetings for the district that you're considering. They're all public meetings. They're all open to the public. You don't have to be a member of the PTA to attend a PTA meeting. And that's something I think a lot of people don't think about doing. And, get peer reviews. I can tell you that a lot of the time when I read the ratings and reviews that people give on websites like Great Schools or Yelp, sometimes it's the negative people and not the positives, or they're dated. Maybe they're talking about a school from 2012 and that's 7 years ago. Things change. For historical context, I think it's important to look at the evolution of a school and see where it came from to where it is currently, and that the scores don't always tell the story. So a lot of the time, I'll hear people that, especially in San Carlos, you're zoned to either go to Sequoia High School in Redwood City or Carlmont High School in Belmont, California. So, of these two schools, Sequoia has a 6 out of 10 on great schools, and Carlmont currently has a 9 out of 10. So, from the outsider looking in, many people will want to pick Carlmont, and it is a wonderful high school. And there's a lot of wonderful qualities and attributes about that school. And this is not to be negative about Carlmont, but I'd like to point out the historical perspective. So, there's a book, My Posse Don't Do Homework by Luann Johnson, that was then adapted into a film, Dangerous Minds. So this book was based upon Carlmont High School. In the movie, it's Parkmont High School, but Carlmont High School, back in the 90s, they bused many kids from East Palo Alto to Carlmont to attend. So this predominantly Caucasian school became heavily populated with Latinos, African Americans, Pacific Islanders. And that was only in the 90s that the book and the film was created. And you can see to the evolution, I don't know what the grade school score at the time was, but Carlmont could have been considered a rougher place to go to school. And, 20 years later, it's now ranked a 9 out of 10. And interestingly, Sequoia High School with a 6 out of 10 is on an increasing trajectory as well. Last year, I believe it was a 5 out of 10. They have a robust international baccalaureate program, amazing other programs that it's actually becoming a school of choice for many of the kids that used to possibly choose private school are now picking Sequoia High School for their 9 through 12 education. So what it all comes down to is diving deeper than the scores and really getting to know an area, a school district, the schools within, looking beyond the scores, and really doing some qualitative analysis instead of just quantitative analysis and focusing on the numbers. If you have any questions about schools or want information, reach out to me anytime. Love to hear your own personal school selection story. Leave me a comment, drop a line below. Take care and see you next week.